Hello my lovelies, it is time for my November wrap-up vlog, so stay tuned. So it is Friday, November 5th, and I have completed my first book of the month. I actually completed this last night, but I was so tired that I didn't do my check-in. I don't have a physical copy of the book here to hold up, so I'm just going to put the image here. I finished Desperate Measures by Katie Robert, and oh my goodness, I loved this book. As far as storyline, it was a pretty simple storyline, but this was well, an erotic retelling of Aladdin with Jasmine and Jafar as the couple together, and it is BDSM, but it is BDSM done in the right kind of way. It's not degrading, and right from the beginning there's safe words and all of that, and respect and boundaries and rules, and it was... Sorry, the dogs went a little nuts. They saw something out the window and just went bonkers. Anyway, in this story, it's definitely not Disney. It's very X-rated. It is steamy, it is hot, it is fun. It's gonna make you love Jafar. Like, yeah. I love how it ended. The way the storyline kind of goes is that right off the in the very first couple of pages, Jasmine's father has sold her to Ali, and when she told him she didn't want to marry Ali, he hit her, and Jafar couldn't stand for him laying a hand on Jasmine, and he was kind of planning a coup anyway, but it happened a whole lot sooner because of this, and he wasn't going to have Jasmine go off with Ali, so Jafar has killed Jasmine's father and taken over everything that's his, including Jasmine. And Ali wants what he feels rightfully belongs to him, and Jafar is not having that. And, well, neither is Jasmine. And, oh my goodness, yeah, 5 stars. It's whew. Definitely recommend. It is Monday, November 8th, and I have completed 5 more books. Some of these I started earlier than the last time I checked in with you, but I just finished them recently. So the first one I finished on Saturday, November 6th. That was The Beautiful Strangers by Camille de Mayo, and I loved this. This was so good. It's kind of set in 2 timelines. We have, oh gosh, what's the first timeline? It starts in 1892, and we have this woman, her real name is Kate Morgan, but she goes by multiple different aliases. She is trying to be done with her shady, conniving husband, and he always seems to find her regardless of what name she uses, and he's finally agreed to meet her to sign divorce papers. So she agrees to meet him, and she's not doing well at all, and he doesn't show up when he says he's supposed to, and eventually she gets the idea that she might want to end her life. So trigger warnings there for suicidal thoughts. However, she doesn't end up going through with it, but things happen and now she's a ghost. And this ghost story part is actually based on a real person, true events, and there is a ghost at the Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, California, or Coronado, California, named Kate Morgan, because this was part of it was a real story. Granted, the author took liberties to fill in gaps and stuff. So we have Ghost Kate Morgan, in the 1800s. And then we have 1958, there's another Kate Morgan, and her grandfather is dealing with dementia, and he kind of goes in and out of lucidity. And they live in San Francisco, California, and Kate really, she wants to be involved somehow with the movies. She doesn't want to be in the movies, but she wants to be involved with the movies. Her and her grandfather, they have this connection with the movies and stuff, and he happens to see an advertisement for a position for like a wait staff down at the Hotel del Coronado where a movie's going to be filmed. And in one of his moments of lucidity, he tells her he wants her to go down there. He wants her to take control of her life and choose the path that she wants, and to take her grandmother's ring and pawn it or whatever to get the money to go. And against the advice of her sister and what her family would have wanted, she does exactly what her grandfather says. But he also wants her to find somebody called the Beautiful Stranger. So Kate goes and pawns her grandmother's ring, and she has 5 weeks to get back and retrieve it before it gets sold to somebody else. And she goes down there with the hopes of achieving her dreams and finding out what her grandfather wants her to know. And the movie that they're filming is Some Like It Hot, and so we get characters like Marilyn Monroe in here. She does play a good part in this book, and it's just, we hear about other characters that were in the movie as well. And it's interesting when there's so much fact and a little, you know, and some fiction filling in the blanks. And I enjoyed reading the author's note afterwards, telling us what was real and what's made up. I gave this 5 stars. I loved it so much. Also on Saturday the 6th, I completed The Light That Gets Lost by Natasha Carthew. Though I didn't technically complete it, but it's complete for me because I'm not going to continue. I DNF'd it. I got almost halfway through it, and I really just was not enjoying it. It's boring. The dialect's terrible. The first 5 to 10 pages of this book were really interesting. They really grabbed my attention, and I was like, okay, I want to see what happens. I felt for the kid. In the very first like 5 to 10 pages, we have this 7-year-old, I believe, and he's hiding in a closet, and there's somebody in his house that shoots his parents and his older brother. His parents end up dead, and his older brother ends up in a home almost in like a vegetative kind of state. And our main character, Trey, he gets a little glimpse of something through the slats, and his little 7-year-old self vows revenge, and he ends up in the foster care system, and he gets himself in trouble so that he can get into this group home that is supposedly led by the person he believes is responsible for doing this to his family. And at this, it fast forwards to him being 15 years old, and he's getting into this group home. So that starts after the like first 5 to 10 pages. He's getting into this group home, and then the next like 65 pages were all of the very first day in this group home. And this is a short book. It's only just a little over 200 pages. So first 65 pages of that were the first day, and then the next, I got to page 101, and we had just hit the 1 week mark of him being in this home, and nothing happened at all. Other than those first like 5 to 10 pages, nothing has happened the entire time. Also, the dialect is just like, for where you would think it would say like, it's been a week, hasn't it? They've got been, B-I-N, a week, in it, I-N-I-T, all one word. And a lot of dialect like that, like obvo, dumbo. I don't know. I really didn't enjoy it at all. So I'm giving this 1 star. Then also on Saturday, I completed The Secret Spiral of Swamp Kid by Kirk Scroggs. And this is a graphic novel. It's super cute. It follows a boy named Russell who is half plant, half human. And he's in middle school. This is middle grade. And he's learned that he has a new skill that he didn't know. And he's trying to figure out how to control this, where he can like grow extra vines and stuff. Almost like a superhero power. And he's got these shady guys in sunglasses and suits following him around everywhere. And there's also this mythical being called Swamp Thing, who's like the Bigfoot of this area. Swamp Thing, this is set in Louisiana, so Swamp Thing lives out in the swamp. But Russell here, Swamp Kid, he thinks Swamp Thing is real and that they're somehow connected. He was adopted. He was found in the swamp by his parents, and they adopted him and raised him. But he's always wanted to know like why he is the way he is, because he's the only one like this. And he like learns about his origins and all of that stuff through in this. And this was a lot of fun, and I give it 3.75. And then on Sunday, the 7th, I finished my reread of The End of Oz by Danielle Page. This is the last book in the Dorothy Must Die series. And I've read this series multiple times. I love it every time. This was so much fun. I love the way it ends. And I can't really say too much about it because it is the last book in the series. But if you don't know, the Dorothy Must Die series follows a girl named Amy Gum who lives in the same area of Kansas that Dorothy did, but it's modern day. And her trailer gets picked up by a tornado and she gets brought to Oz. And she's brought there because somebody wants her to assassinate Dorothy, because at some point in time Dorothy came back to Oz and the magic of Oz kind of twisted Dorothy and she became power hungry and this tyrant that is just siphoning the magic from Oz and just ruining Oz. And Amy has to work with the Order of the Wicked, which like the wicked witches all have come together and they're like working for the good of Oz to take down Dorothy. This series is so much fun. It will make you see these characters in a way you've never seen them before, and it forever will change my perspective of these characters the more I read this series. I love it so much, and I give this 5 stars. And then today I finished Check Please Book 2, Sticks and Scones. This is the second in a graphic novel duology following our main character Biddy, or Biddle, and he has a YouTube channel where he like, you see clips throughout like him talking to the camera, and he also bakes. And in the first book, okay, so he is a figure skater that gets into his dream school on a hockey scholarship. So he joins this very bro-like team of hockey players, and he's really struggling and he's trying to fit in with these guys, and it's hard for him because he's just not one of these kind of guys. And you know, it's just him finding his footing and learning about himself. And Biddy is also gay but hasn't come out to anybody. And in this second book here, this is more of him announcing himself, him coming into his own, him figuring out life, and also, you know, this amazing team that he has, and a love interest that grows. And it's just, this is so good, and it's just, oh, it's such a hug. I love it so much, and I give this 5 stars. So it is Monday, November 15th, and I've completed 2 more books. The first thing I completed was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is sort of a prequel novel to The Hunger Games, and it follows Cornelius Snow and kind of what led to him being where he is at the beginning of Hunger Games. This one is 3.5 stars. Both Marty and I, Marty was listening to it while I was following along in the audio, or following along in the book. And we both give it 3.5 stars. Was this necessary to the story? Definitely not. Did it add anything to the story? Not really. Was it enjoyable? Sure, it was interesting, and I liked it okay. So this shows Cornelius Snow, essentially like a high school student, an academy student, and the headmaster's not really a fan of his, and they have to, 12 of these students, in order to graduate or whatever, they have to participate as mentors for the first time in the Hunger Games. And you also do see how certain things got added to the Hunger Games, like them being like sponsored and having food delivered and things like that, and how it became like mandatory to watch and all of that stuff. But Cornelius, he ends up with the tribute from District 12, and he's not really thrilled about it, but he gets this lovely girl named Lucy Gray, and Lucy kind of melts Snow's heart, and he desperately wants to keep her safe and keep her alive, and he wants her to win. He wants her to win for 2 reasons. One, he believes that she is like his girl, and he has fallen for her, and he wants to keep her safe, but also he wants to win. Like he needs this to win, and his family is struggling as far as money goes, and there's a big scholarship on the line to go to the university, and he does whatever it takes to make sure she wins, but that doesn't necessarily work out in his favor. And that's only like the first, maybe third of the book. We see him morph and twist and all of this other stuff as it goes on. And yeah, I mean, I did enjoy it, but it was a 3.5. And then I finished my buddy read of the week, which was The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. This is book 5 in the Heroes of Olympus series. I think it's the last book in this series. I enjoyed the whole series. I give this 4 stars. I can't really tell you too much about it because it is, I believe, the last book, or at least it's the 5th book. But this has like the ultimate battle in it, and it's just one thing after another these kids are having to go through to try to stop this thing from happening. And on top of them trying to beat the bad guy, they also have the Roman demigods and the Greek demigods kind of like wanting to butt heads, and especially the Romans wanting to just destroy the Greeks. Yeah. But I really enjoyed it. There are some characters that I really hope to see moving forward in other series, because I know that he does carry some of them over. Like this had the Percy Jackson characters in it. So I'm really hoping to see certain characters moving forward, because I really want more from them. But I give this 4 stars. So it is Sunday, November 28th, and I've completed 4 more books. I know it's been a minute. I have not gotten a lot of reading done this month because it's just been crazy. But let me go over what I did get done. And I'm going to tell you the dates as approximate as I can remember. So I believe it was on Wednesday the 17th that I completed Final Draft by Riley Redgate. And this is about a girl named Layla who she's in this creative writing class. It's her senior year. She absolutely adores her creative writing teacher, and he's like her biggest fan, and it's an easy A in this class. Writing is what she does, what she loves. She spends all of her free time in these fantasy sci-fi worlds that she creates, and just is writing all the time and always trying to improve and improve. And her teacher, he's very encouraging, and he's always very proud of the improvements that she makes and all of that. But sometimes she wonders, you know, is he just saying this? And then something happens, and he has to be temporarily replaced until the end of the school year. So they get a substitute, but this isn't just any substitute. They get this Pulitzer Prize winning author to come and teach the class for the rest of the year. And she pretty much instantly gets everyone in the class, including Layla, an F. And it's incredibly hard on her, and really she's just trying to help her improve and break out of her shell and go and experience things in real life and not spend all her time just with writing, because she can't create these full scenes, these full characters, if she's not living as well. And I found this really, really good, and I believe I gave this 4 stars. And then I think it was on Friday the 19th that I completed Darius the Great Is Not Okay by Adib Khorram. And this follows a boy named, I'm so dumb, Darius, who he is, he's mixed between his mother's Iranian and his father is Caucasian. He's white, blonde hair, blue-eyed, strong jaw kind of guy. And the only thing he seems to have in common with his father is that they both have depression and take medication for it. And they have a very strained kind of relationship. And when Darius's grandfather over in Iran, he's very, very ill, his family goes to spend a couple of weeks there, and once he gets over there, over in America, he's bullied and things like that, and he feels like he's not American enough, even though that's where he was born and everything. But then he goes to Iran and he feels that he's not Iranian enough. He's too American there, and so he feels like he doesn't really fit anywhere, and until he meets this boy who befriends him. And it's just him finding this friend and making this friend and dealing with what's going on with his family and dealing with the relationship between him and his father. And I really enjoyed it, and I think I'm going to give this one a 3.5. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. I don't know that I'd read it again, but I did enjoy it a lot. And then I think it was on Monday the 22nd, I completed A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And I can't really say too much about this because this is the second book in the From Blood and Ash series. But, oh, I loved it. I loved it so much. And I give this 5 stars. I'm obsessed. Like, obsessed. And I need to read the next one like right now, which actually I'm about to start. But what can I tell you about this? In this, Poppy learns a little bit more about herself and what she is and what she can do. And she learns more about the people that she had been with before and the people she's with now. That's really all I can say, but it was so good. 5 stars. And then today, the 28th, I finished Cece Rios and the Desert of Souls by Kayla Rivera. And this follows a girl named Cece who, oh goodness, she lives out in the desert, and her family and her whole community, they're very fire oriented. And there are these beings, these souls or whatever they're called, criaturas, which are like sort of animal beings, but also can be in human form, and they also live like a really, really long time. Her village, her people, they believe that these are all bad. And as a little girl, she met one of them that made her question everything that she's been told. And she thinks that maybe people are not all correct. Like maybe not all of these are as bad as everybody believes. And she's kind of frowned upon by her entire village after trying to help one of these criaturas. And years later, there's this big festival event thing, and her sister is performing, and her sister ends up being taken by one of these beings, and Cece can't do anything to help her. And Cece decides to do the unthinkable and become a bruja in order to help save her sister. But you can go to jail for being a bruja, and so she's having to do everything very secretly in order to help her sister. And it was really, really good, and I'm gonna give this 4 stars, and I really want to continue the series. So it is Wednesday, December 1st, and I have completed 2 more books. I finished these both yesterday, so they're still part of November's wrap-up. So the first book I finished was the manga Fairy Tale by Hiro Mashima, and this was so cute and funny, and it wasn't at all what I expected going in. I guess I had, well, because of the name, I thought it was sort of like a fairy tale kind of thing, and it's not. But Fairy Tale is like the name of this wizard's guild. And Lucy here, she really wants to be part of the wizard's guild, and she ends up getting herself into some trouble while trying to get into the guild. And Natsu is a very unlikely kind of hero, where he gets very motion sick on any form of transportation pretty much, and he makes terrible ungraceful entrances everywhere. And his best friend is a talking cat that can sprout wings, and the cat's name is Happy. This is just super cute. I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, Natsu, it helps Lucy out, and they kind of become a team, and it's super cute. I give this 4 stars. I'm definitely going to continue this series. And also yesterday I read Blood Roses by Francesca Leah Block, and this book was weird. If you happen to catch my live reading sprints over on Cece's channel, I talked about this because I was reading this during that. And so there's like a surface level story for each. There's like 9 different stories in here, and there's a surface level story that's going on with each of them, but then there's like an underlying kind of story that's going on. Like, one of these stories is about these 2 sisters who are super fans of this rock and roll star, and he has killed himself, and their mother took like all our albums of his away and posters of his away, so they go to this record store in order to just look at his face, and they're invited to see some photos of him. And I think the underlying story of what goes on here is that these girls get taken and murdered. There's just a lot of weird stuff in here too. Like a girl who's not that into, like, cares that much about boys. Sorry, Einstein is just making all kinds of noise. She doesn't care that much about the boys in her school. She doesn't seem to care that much about girls either. Just, they're all too immature for her or whatever. And she's more about riding horses and becoming a vet. And I'm sorry that Einstein's making so much noise. And one day she's riding a horse, and this is like in East LA and in some valley area. And she meets a centaur, and they fall in love, and she thinks about like how awkward and interesting it would be to have sex with him. And then bad things happen, and then she's like, was everything a dream? It's weird. I'm gonna give it 3 stars because originally I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be like a 2.5 star book. It's just way too weird, but I was kind of enjoying myself, so I'm gonna give it 3 stars. So yeah. So in November, if I'm counting, if I've got everything here, that means I've read 14 books in November, which is not bad. It's not as good as I would have liked to have done, But still not bad for me. Have you guys read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!